Alexander Township, and with second-hand computers, and started a movement that has since seen people being trained in computing, and gosh, yeah, it's amazing stuff. Yeah, this individual decided to work from a hair salon at Alexander Township, and having only 4 second-hand computers. And you know, when you say second-hand, they break quite often. And when you're not an IT specialist, then it also becomes chaotic, because then you need funds to fix. But she had a passion, she had a vision, and her vision was to come up with an institution that was going to see Alex children, especially in grade 12 learners, being exposed to IT and being trained on how to use computers and knowing how to operate call centers. This is a young woman from Alexander, and now she runs a center that has 3 computers at the reception, a call center training, and lecture rooms housing over 80 computers, from 3 to 80, and 3 administrative officers, a growing staff complement. They also have a kitchen, and she calls it Khuphulanani Training Institute. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening to you.
Oh my goodness. No, let me do this properly.
Yes.
Can I say which one? Dimatekwana. There you go. Gosh, my vendor friend, I hope you're listening, and just wanted to shame you. You, like any other child, dusty streets of Alex, and you're thinking of a computer institution, IT institute. What motivated this?
Actually, I grew up with my grandmother in Limpopo, and then I moved to Joburg when I was 15 to stay with my mom and further my studies. And then that's when I actually realized that there's a need for each child to know how to operate a PC, because I was not exposed to that. And then I had to learn computer while I was at Boston College. So it was difficult for me because it was the first time. And then it was really not easy.
And you're learning with kids who have been exposed to these things. You're supposed to get the same marks.
That's true.
And when you've never seen a computer, you're starting from actually even admiring this box, and now you have to learn how to work it out.
I had to start all over from the scratch, and then I had to learn how to fix computers, and then I had to learn how to do all those things. And then that really motivates me to say, this is what I would like to do, this is what I would like to give back to the community. Also with the background, the way I was raised, and then I felt like if I can be able to give something to one child, I'll actually have made a difference to somebody, to another person. So that's really what I wanted to do. And then I was very much passionate about computers. I always wanted to work with computers. It didn't really
But
matter.
where did the guts even begin? Because, you know, sometimes there are a lot of people with ideas, and they end up at cemeteries where it's one day is one day. One day I'm going to own this. But, you know, that dream is never turned to reality because there's no action following the dream.
Actually, it started when I was doing matric, because I started working when I was 18. So when I left the retail industry, I told myself that I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to work on weekends again. I'm going to work for myself. Then what I did was I went to study, and then I also volunteered in an antique company, which was doing the very same thing that I'm doing. And then I learned a lot from that company.
A smart girl.
Yes. And then they gave me an opportunity to explore everything. So I actually grabbed the opportunity, and then I told myself, this is my dream. And then
this is what I'm going to do.
This is what I'm going to do. And then I did it.
But surely there were times when it was hard.
Very much.
What kept you going?
I kept on motivating myself. I was driven.
What do you say when you motivate yourself?
Katu, you have to do this. You have to wake up. There's a lot of people out there that really needs your help. And then I could see my vision. I could see actually me out there, and then as a young businesswoman in South Africa. And then I just told myself, no, you can't stop.
Now, here's a tradition here. Yes. When we celebrate an African pride, you don't get to speak. we just say thank you to you, and we find people that are just going to help us say thank you. Thank you to the individual that you are. Thank you for your contribution towards making South Africa a greater place, because Khathutshelo Maphari is here. And she says, I too want to be counted amongst the good books of people who made South Africa a great country.
Thank you.
And we thank you for that. We put a star that shines on your forehead. And such people, we start with the Malume.
Wow. No.
Good evening, Uncle Thomas. Uncle Thomas Lishi, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I could say I'm very sure.
We have Mushana Wahao in studio. And celebrating her as our African pride tonight. Now, as an uncle, what's your message? I mean, as a family, what's it like to have a child that is just so focused and so driven that she owns an institution?
First of all, I would say, it's not an easy road. It's a very bumpy road, gravel road, starting from where she started. It was like, it was a dream from when she grew up. She wanted to be, have a computer in front of her and it was very difficult for her because she even tried all the time to have a little bit of an internet cafe, and she went on hiring on some spaces, and at some it was so difficult because sometimes she was locked out of some places, and she could come to me and say, Uncle, you know what, I don't even have money, and my internet cafe has been closed down. And it was heartbreaking, and I would sit with her mom and we would chat about it, and her mom even eventually ended up saying, Katu, you must stop that thing
just
that you're thinking about, your dream will never come true.
And what's your message to her today?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I said to her, you know what, sister, let us just wait and see, because this is a dream. It might come, And she kept on telling me about Mr. Khadebe. I was in Cape Town by then. I didn't even know who Mr. Khadebe was. And she told me, look, Mr. Khadebe is one person that I'm like looking at to say maybe he can help me at the end of the day. The one day that really broke my heart was when she came to me at night and she said, Uncle, I don't even have a place to stay. I don't want to go home to my mom. I just want to be somewhere else because I need this business. I need to see this happening. And I said to her, okay, you can stay by me. And she stayed by me. But, she didn't stay. She didn't stay long because, this thing was like driving her to say, I need to have this business. I need to have this business. And it was like, year before last, when she called me when I was still in Cape Town, and she said to me, Uncle, I need you to come back because Mr. Khadebe had blossomed. He has made it happen. So please come back and come and see what is happening. And I was like in tears a bit, to say, oh yes. And at the end of the day, because there were so many people that, people would always say, okay, this is not working out, got to forget it. This is not working out.
But she didn't stop. And Malum, I'm going to stop you there because now her tears are uncontrollable. And I think she can relate to every word that comes out of your mouth. And thank you for being support. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And you gathered strength and you knocked at people's doors and they opened their doors. I'm trying to find a tissue. We all crying here in studio. And the one company that just never ceases to amaze us. Last week we were celebrating with boys being turned to men and contributing to your vision. And we really appeal to corporates that don't turn that visionary away. You never know. Today, she owns an institute and teaching young kids how to operate computers. And it all started just in a corner of a hairdressing salon, and there were setbacks. But she knocked at Tracker. And Tracker training manager, Sebe Rasibitseng, good evening and welcome.
How are you?
Gosh, I'm just lost for words. What made you consider Khathu's vision?
It was quite a number of things because, of course, we had met with Khathu prior to that. And when he saw that Khathutshelo vision and her persistence, initially he told me that he's been speaking to Khathutshelo for the last 2 years. This was like 3 years ago. And can I go and see what Khathutshelo has from a legislation point of view, that she has the right papers, accreditation for training material and her content. And I must say, when I met Khathutshelo for the first time, and I was quite surprised and blown away from how organized she was. She had all the necessary paperwork. It wasn't just a dream without being backed up, with the necessary hard work that gone into it. So whatever she trains the guys currently, it's something that's accredited. She's registered with the CETAs, which was quite impressive. And I must say, I admire her spirit, and she's just so persistent. She's been at my office like almost every 3 months, say that this is what I need. How do I put together the content? How do I train it to make sure that, it's practical and they can apply it when they get out of her classroom? So she's been amazing in that sector, and we're very proud of her. We're very proud from an investment perspective to say it has come to, there is return, and there's other people that are benefiting from it.
And from people like her, you're able to help others. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sebe. And we continue. Like I said to you, you don't speak, you just absorb it. Take it. This is God speaking and saying, we thank you for the person that you are. You're on the right track. We just need more of you. We need more of you. And this person has worked with you for many years at the same institute that has gone through dips. And I'm sure when you have people that have been with you since inception, Faith Monaling. Good evening, Faith.
Good evening, Priscilla. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. For people who don't know this phenomenal young woman, if you were to describe her in a few words, what would those words be?
She's my rock. She has we've been through thick and thin. Going to work, not having a salary and all that. But because of her strength and the motivation that she gives to us as her staff, I applaud her. Is she trying there?
I think you know her way too well. And that's the reason why we say they shouldn't speak and just listen. Because sometimes it can be overwhelming when people talk about the good deeds. Because, when you do something you love, you don't even see it as contribution. You see it as something that must be done.
Yes. And one of the things that I like about Khathutshelo is just she's passionate about people. She knocks on people's doors so that they can give free computer lessons to the communities like Alex and Steve Slot. And she doesn't care about herself, but she cares a lot about people. She's passionate about people and empowering them with skills.
Thank you very much, Faith, and we honor you as well for being support to this vision. Thank you very much, because through your friendship, she is what she is today, and that's what we're celebrating in Khathutshelo Maphari. She is from Alexander, and she's managing director of Khuphulanani Training Institute. Even the name Khuphulanani. As I rise, I lift some with me. Let's go now as we continue celebrating Khathutshelo to Miriam Ngwana, who's one of the employees. When you phone people and you say we're celebrating this individual, and they don't go, what will I say? They go, yes, please, add my name as well. Then you know that you're celebrating a great person. Good evening, Miriam.
Hello.
What is it like to work for this young lady?
Hello.
Hi, Miriam.
Hi.
What is it like to work for Khathutshelo?
That I like about her.
Yes.
Okay. She is one young lady who's ambitious, who perseveres. She just doesn't give up. Everything.
Thank you very much for that contribution. And sometimes we talk about these things, but the proof is always in the pudding. Let's speak to young learners who have benefited from this vision. We take a break. When we come back, we speak to these young learners. Thank you for joining us. We're celebrating our African pride tonight. A young woman who had a vision a few years ago and decided that I am going to do whatever it takes to ensure that no child, not if I can help it, that a child goes to tertiary and they've never ever seen a computer in their lives. And she's raised funds. She started an institute. She's now training even call center agents. It's moved from a corner at a salon at some stages. She had nowhere to go. She had no place to stay. She couldn't afford rent and would be locked out. And she's here today as managing director and founder, the visionary behind Khuphulanani. And yeah, we're celebrating here. Let's go now to one of the students who have benefited from this. Elliot Buthelezi. Good evening, Bab.
Right, yourself?
How old were you when you started going to the institute?
I was 21 years of age.
And how has it benefited your life?
Well, meeting Khathu has been a life-changing experience for me. I was a very rough diamond, and when I came into her arms, I got cleaned and I got cut, and now I'm as fine as ever. As we speak right now, I'm working at the technical department in ADT security as an agent there. I must say that Khathu is a remarkable woman and her ambition exceeds limits. I can't stop thanking her. Khathu is an angel of charity. She's a woman of prestige, and she really, really deserves to be celebrated.
Thank you for that. We take your calls 089 110 3377 089 110 3377. Let's speak to Nobomu Meslani. Good evening, Nobomu.
Good evening, sister. How are you?
I'm super inspired. Truly am so inspired.
I'm also here. I'm also here, trust me.
Now, we celebrating this phenomenal young woman. Your experience with her as a former learner, as a former student.
Sorry?
What's your message for her as a former learner who's benefited from her vision?
For me, I admire her because she's a woman, and she actually stood up and actually said, I can do it. For me, I look up to her. That's the only best thing that I can say. Because for me, going to her school, it actually changed my life, because I'm also working at ADT as well as an agent. So it's just for me, it just opened up doors for me, a beginning of a brighter future.
And your message to her now?
The only thing that I can say to her, I look up to her and I admire you, Khathu, and you're my role model.
What are you doing now?
Right now?
Are you working?
Yes, I'm working at ADT as well.
So you were also placed?
Yes.
Oh, wow. No, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. And
it's a pleasure.
Listening to that. And knowing that, I mean, when your uncle was speaking and everyone else speaking, you couldn't help but relive some of the experiences, and I'm sure that's what got you teary. What was going through your mind?
Actually, I think of everything that I went through, all the challenges, and then it just all came back to say I'm where I am because I persevered. I went through all those things. I went through all those challenges, and then that's the reason why I'm here. And then I've achieved a lot.
And you've achieved a lot. No, thank you. I think we have time to just take one more caller, and let's take Batong. Handwriting is so Thabiso. Mang. Does this look like Khomotso? Khomotso joining us from the USA.
Yes. How are you, sister?
I'm great. Thank you. I mean, thank you so much to the energy that is Tabi. So we're experiencing a bit of a technical glitch, and he had to just write the name quickly and wrote like a doctor. Welcome, and thank you so much for calling in. We celebrating a young, phenomenal woman, as you are in the US of A, thinking back home and knowing the challenges that people face here. Listening to this conversation, what's going through your mind?
It's just inspiring, and to see that some of the people back at home, that they can do something like this without any resources, just having the idea and the love of the people,
Mm-hmm.
And, we often think of the USA being the breadbasket of the charity organizations trying to empower others. But again, as Africans, if we can have people like her, in great numbers, empowering each other, I think that will be very good for the country and the continent as well.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to us.
Yes. And again, just give me the name of our organization, because I was checking online, I couldn't find it.
We are going to give the organization and contact numbers for those who would like to support the Institute further.
Oh, okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. And there you are.
Thank you.
Say it. What is your institute's name?
Khuphulanani Training Institute. It's Khuphulanani Training Institute.
And your contact details?
011-440-0718. My cell number is 084-469-7273.
You said it like a how train in motion.
011-440-0718.
That sounded like Metro Rail. Thank you. Thank you so much for the person that you are. Continue shining your light, and the world is your oyster, girl. Perseverance has taken you where you are now, and may the good God just continue to just allow you to just shine your light.
Thank you so much for having me today. And then I also want to thank my mentor, Mr. Khathutshelo. He's done a lot. He's been wonderful to me.
He's an incredible man.
Thank you.
I wish we could just have him consult. Yeah. That's where we ended. It's Metro FM Talk. We'll be back again tomorrow. Right now, it's Ishmael Abrams with what he does best, primetime night radio. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again between 7:30 and 9. It's TD Pentabiso as part of the team. We'll be back tomorrow.
What up? Metro FM loves Rustenburg. 86.1.